Rain poured over downtown Chicago as thousands of people rushed through the streets trying to escape the storm. Nobody paid attention to the little blind girl sitting beside the subway entrance. She looked no older than 8 years old. Thin jacket, wet shoes, a white cane resting quietly across her lap. A small paper cup sat beside her with only a few coins inside. People walked around her without slowing down. Some dropped spare change without looking at her face. Most acted like she didn't exist at all. Across the street, Master Sergeant Daniel Hayes stopped walking. The decorated Army veteran had survived 3 combat deployments overseas. But something about the little girl hit him harder than any battlefield memory ever had. Thunder rolled across the city skyline. The girl slowly lifted her head, then quietly. She began singing, soft, gentle. An old military song. Daniel froze instantly. He knew that song. Every soldier did. People continued walking through the rain without listening, but Daniel couldn't move because the little blind girl sang every word perfectly. A businessman bumped her shoulder while passing. "Watch it!" he snapped angrily, before disappearing into the crowd. The little girl lowered her head immediately. "Sorry, sir." Daniel crossed the street at once, rain soaked through his uniform jacket as he approached her carefully. "You know that song?" he asked softly. The little girl looked toward his voice. "You're military," she said immediately. Daniel blinked in surprise. "How did you know that?" The girl smiled faintly. "You walk heavier on your left side." Daniel's expression changed instantly. "Old injury," she added quietly. Daniel stared at her. "My dad walked like that too." For a moment, Daniel couldn't speak. The rain poured harder around them. "What's your name?" he finally asked. "Emma." Daniel glanced at the nearly empty paper cup beside her. Barely $3 inside. "You out here alone, Emma?" She nodded slowly. "My aunt works nights." Daniel frowned. "She lets you sit here in the rain?" Emma lowered her head slightly. "She says people feel more sorry for blind kids." Daniel felt anger rise inside his chest immediately. Not battlefield anger. Something deeper. Something painful. Thunder shook the city again. Emma flinched from the sound. Daniel noticed her hands trembling badly from the cold. Without hesitation, he removed his military jacket and gently placed it around her shoulders. The oversized jacket nearly swallowed her completely. Emma carefully touched the fabric. Her fingers slowly moved across the American flag patch stitched onto the sleeve. "You're really a soldier," she whispered. Daniel nodded quietly. Then something happened that stopped the entire sidewalk. Emma slowly stood up using her white cane. Daniel watched in confusion. The little girl straightened herself carefully, then raised her tiny hand into a perfect military salute. Not childish, not sloppy. Perfect. People nearby stopped walking. Even the traffic noise suddenly felt distant. Daniel felt his throat tighten painfully. "Who taught you that?" he asked softly. Emma smiled. "My daddy." Daniel swallowed hard. "What was his name?" Emma's smile faded slightly. "Corporal Michael Reed." Daniel froze completely. The world around him disappeared for a second. He knew that name. Very well. Corporal Michael Reed had died 6 years earlier during an ambush overseas. Enemy fire had trapped Daniel's convoy inside a burning roadway. Michael Reed had gone back into the gunfire 3 separate times to pull wounded soldiers to safety. Daniel had been the last soldier Michael saved, and Michael never made it back out. Rain rolled down Daniel's face as he stared silently at the little blind girl before him, his best friend's daughter. Alone, cold, forgotten. Daniel looked away for a moment, trying to steady himself. Emma tilted her head slightly. "Are you okay?" Daniel forced a small smile. "Yeah," he whispered. But he wasn't. Not even close. He crouched beside her carefully. "Emma, when's the last time you ate?" She hesitated quietly. Daniel already understood the answer. He gently held out his hand. "Come on." Emma tilted her head. "Where are we going?" Daniel looked at the tiny salute still fresh in his memory. "Home," he said softly. Across the street, an older woman standing beneath a store awning lowered her phone slowly. She had recorded everything: the blind girl, the salute, the soldier crying in the rain. By morning, the video was everywhere online. Millions watched the little blind girl salute the soldier. Millions cried when they learned who her father was. News stations replayed the footage non-stop. Veterans across the country shared Michael Reed's story. Donations flooded in for Emma overnight, but Daniel ignored all of it. Because none of it changed the only thing